Hello, my movie loving peeps. Thank you so much for clicking on another episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. We got so much news to dive into here today, and it's an interesting bag. Some of the things we're going to be talking about here is we finally know when we're going to see the Super Mario trailer and what we can expect in it. Tons of horror movie updates with things like The Nun 2 and the Final Destination reboot. Even talking about how Disney is getting very scary with their AI technology and what it means for the future of movies. That along with so much more. So I'm going to need you movie fans to give me your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Real randomly, I don't know why, I'm just feeling extremely grateful to have you guys here, and I just want to say thank you if you're someone who chooses to watch my videos even when you agree or disagree with me. You guys are the absolute best to make content for, and I wouldn't do it for anybody else. Now with that said, let's get into some movie news, man. And the first thing I want to dive into here today is you guys know if there's a trailer for a movie that appeals to me, I'm going to talk about it at the top of Side Flick and say whether it's trash or treasure, because as you know, one man's trash, another man's treasure. And we finally have here the trailer for the next M. Night Shyamalan movie titled Knock at the Cabin. And look, love him or hate him, anytime M. Night Shyamalan has a movie coming up, automatically interested just because I know I'm going to get something different. And here with the trailer for Knock at the Cabin, it looks like we're going to be following this gay couple and their daughter who go out to a cabin having a good family fun time when Dave Bautista and his crazy gang show up, knock at the cabin, and say, "We have to make your family commit a heinous act, and if you don't accomplish it, it will cause the beginning of the apocalypse and you will destroy the world." Someone knocks at your door and says that, what are you gonna do? The way this trailer outlines those events feel very chilling, thrilling. I am 110% on board with this movie, and that's with me having a bad taste in my mouth from M. Night Shyamalan's Old. I was not a big fan of that movie, but this right here looks exactly up my wheelhouse, and let's just hope whatever twist they pull out isn't balls to the wall crazy. If there even is a twist, because we're still waiting for the day for M. Night just to give us a movie without expecting a twist. So yeah, count me absolutely excited for this one. I think it's going to be one of M. Night Shyamalan's better movies. But then again, you never know with the guy, so I throw it off to you guys. If you've seen the trailer for Knock at the Cabin, is this an M. Night Shyamalan movie you're interested in or going to pass? Next thing I want to discuss here today is we finally know when we're going to get to see Chris Pratt's voice as Mario for the Super Mario movie. It was officially announced by New York Comic Con and Universal this week that we will get the first look at the Super Mario teaser trailer October 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This will coincide with New York Comic Con. I'm assuming it's going to get released out to the world because they're making such a big press about it. So anyone afraid that you have to be at New York Comic Con, I think it'll come out that exact same day, especially because you have Chris Pratt out here announcing it further, saying something like, "I just saw the teaser trailer for the very first time myself. I am simply blown away. You will be too. This one is very special. Cannot wait." And oh, I am right there with you, Mr. Chrissy Pratt. I think October 6th, all of us will be something like this.
It's a me, a Mario.
Jokes aside though, I am rooting for this movie. I want this to be a success. Who doesn't want the Mario movie to be good? But at the same time, just like the world we live in that Chris Pratt is voicing Mario and all those other cast members, Illumination attached, it's like, this is gonna be one giant meme fest, or they're gonna surprise the heck out of all of us. Oh, you can bet your butts I'm gonna be there doing a reaction, doing a breakdown. I want to know from you guys, what do you most want to see out of the Super Mario trailer? Kind of sticking with Illumination for a little bit, they did announce something I find really intriguing I wanted to bring to light to you guys. It just got announced that Universal and Illumination are gonna start a new animated department called Moonlight that'll be focusing on more mature content. It was announced that Mike Moon, who was the head of adult animation at Netflix, has now moved over with Illumination to make this new studio. The exact wording they use in this article is, Illumination said the goal for Moonlight is to produce animated films that push beyond the family genre. And I think this is huge news because we are moving forward in a time where in the next 10 years, we will now have commonplace where an animated movie comes out and people don't automatically think, oh, that's something I can take my kid to. There's always been this stigma that animated movies are just for kids or weird adults who don't want to grow up. Hey, leave me alone. But Universal and Illumination aren't the only ones doing this. We know Sony and their animated department also has a couple of rated R movies in the works. One of them I'm still waiting to see more information on, called Fix, where that movie's about a dog who's about to get his balls cut off and us following the adventure of his last day before he gets snipped. That's a rated R animated movie headed our way, and now Illumination wants in on that action. I think it's a win. And I'm not even saying so they can make movies like Fixed or Sausage Party that are full-on raunchy rated R movies too inappropriate for kids. Like, where is the PG-13 animated movies? Where is the animated movies with a little bit more violence, more adult tones, some blood, some gore in there? Like a rated R horror animated movie would be awesome. And this is all kind of a direct cause from the pandemic. When that went on, people noticed the only movies we can kind of keep moving forward on are animated films. People can work on those from the comfort of their home. So you can kind of thank the pandemic for making this move forward, because this might have been something that happened in like 20, 30 years. Still, I think there might be a small percentage of old-fashioned people that go, no, animation is just for children. What is your problem, man? I think it could be awesome, but I throw it off to you guys. Illumination and Universal are making a new studio focusing on more mature animated films. What would you like to see be done? Moving on, talking about some horror movies we got coming up, we just got a small update involving The Nun 2. Here, Bloody Disgusting has it reported The Nun 2, Storm Reed will battle Valak in upcoming sequel. Some of you guys who watch Euphoria might recognize her as the younger sister to Rue. At least that's where I know her from, and it looks like she'll be one of the main protagonists of the movie, which plot currently goes as: in 1956 France, a priest is murdered, and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit The Nun follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with the demonic force Valak the Demon Nun. Now, I said this the last time we talked about The Nun. I was so terrified of the character in The Conjuring 2. I thought it was one of the best characters in the Conjuring universe. Then the solo Nun movie came out, and it turned out to be the worst film in that spin-off universe. Completely made me lose my fear and interest in the character, so I'm hoping The Nun 2 will be more like Annabelle 2, where Annabelle creation was way better than the first movie, or heck, even the second Ouija film. That first Ouija film sucked, that second movie, amazing. So that's the hopes I kind of have for The Nun 2, but as of right now, even with this great casting choice, because she's very talented, in Euphoria, she knows how to make a sad and crying face. But right now, I just have no interest in this spin-off, and I'd rather see other characters in the Conjuring universe. Still, I throw it off to you guys. You see this update on The Nun 2. How are you feeling about it, and are you excited for the sequel? And talking about sequels, we got an update here to the Cloverfield franchise, where they're moving forward with another movie. Deadline here has reported that new Cloverfield film at Paramount sets Bobak Anvari as director. Now, we had actually heard before that this was happening and in the works, but we only had some writers, and at that time they said that this new Cloverfield movie would be more of a direct sequel to that very first film instead of being an anthology set in the universe like some of the other sequels, which I think that right there is very exciting. One of the reasons people love that first Cloverfield is for that big giant monster, exploring more lore about it. Where did it come from? Why was it happening? And then we just never went back there. Here it looks like we might actually be doing that this time around, but if it's another anthology, I don't mind. I really enjoy 10 Cloverfield Lane. Sometimes I like it better than the original Cloverfield. Still, I think it is the better choice to go back and revisit that giant monster, explore that a little bit. Question is, would it be found footage again? Would it be more traditional filmmaking? All that's kind of left unseen, but a new Cloverfield movie, that's got to be exciting. What do you guys think? Moving on here, talking about the Final Destination reboot we have in the works that we have just been hearing about for the longest time. We are making real progress with this movie because we just got announced the directors and a funny story about how they got the job. The Hollywood Reporter here has it that Final Destination 6 finds its directors in Freaks filmmakers. Now, Zach Limbosky and Adam Stein are the people that'll be directing Final Destination 6, and while they do have a critically acclaimed horror movie to their name, Freaks, the way they actually got the job I think is so much funnier. So with Final Destination 6, you guys might have heard that John Watts is attached as producer, and him along with other people attached to the movie were interviewing over 200 different people in Hollywood to see who would be the best people to direct this movie. And during the webcam interview with these directors talking about their pitch for the movie, in the middle of it, a fire started to go off in the background. One of the directors got up to go put out the fire, take care of that, then come sit back down to finish the meeting, and as it continued, the ceiling fan came down and chopped off one of their heads. This all turned out to be a pre-recorded visual effects shot that the directors had planned to happen during the meeting to show how enthusiastic and fans they are of Final Destination to the producers. Once the producers realized it was one big gag, they had a laugh, they thought it was great, and just gave them the jobs after that. That's kind of cool. That shows to me these guys are passionate about this franchise that has gone downhill after a couple of sequels. To me, everything after Final Destination 3 was just kind of meh. And the thing that excites me most about this new Final Destination movie, although we don't know what the plot will be about, they say they're gonna mix up the formula and not have it be as repetitive as some of the previous films. So really, this is an awesome sign to me. I can't wait to see what they do. Leave me your guys' thoughts for what you would want to be the big event that causes the Final Destination. Moving on to something that just kind of blew my mind and makes me wonder, man, what is the future of Hollywood? James Earl Jones, who you might know for famously voicing Darth Vader and has still continued to voice Darth Vader all this time, has recently come out in an interview and said that he's given the okay for Disney to recreate his voice with AI technology. In fact, he even goes on to say that every time Darth Vader talked in Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was not his actual voice, but an AI recreation of his voice. And to me, this is kind of crazy that this is happening. Like, this is the future of filmmaking, and it brings up so many questions, you know? Some people out there going, is this right? Is it not right? Like, I don't know if we could really argue it's not right when James Earl Jones is like, yeah, go ahead and do it. They're obviously gonna pay him a boatload of money, and he doesn't even have to do the job anymore. But then to other people, it might not feel genuine in the performance. Can an AI robot really replicate a performance from an actor? I mean, I thought Darth Vader sounded perfectly fine in Kenobi. This also even makes me wonder if this extends further past Darth Vader, because we got announced that they're making a live-action Mufasa movie, where it's a prequel to the live-action Lion King movie they made. Mufasa is famously voiced by James Earl Jones. Are they going to use AI again to replicate his voice for that movie? I wouldn't be surprised if they do, depending on what kind of deal James Earl Jones signed to use his voice. And now that this has already started, what other actor is next, man? What Hollywood actor has such an iconic voice that they want to leave behind some money for their family, or they're scrapping for money? They're like, fine, use an AI robot to use my voice. There you go. I mean, as a horror fan, I think of Brad Dourif as Chucky, you know? We think no one can replicate the voice of Charles Lee Ray. What do you think about living in a world where you don't have to replace that famous actor, that once Brad Dourif passes away, hopefully in the long off far future, you could still make Chucky movies with his voice? Or even the actor who does the voice for Ghostface in Scream, Roger L. Jackson? That one would actually kind of make sense, because in that world, it is this device that is altering a voice, so an AI version of that could work. But then again, it comes back to, is this a genuine way to make movies? If this is where we start, where does that line end? Next, we'll be replicating full-on actors with all CGI, then you add their voice, and pretty soon, you might make an entire movie without any real actors attached. It's a crazy world we live in, but we might be headed there someday. Good thing I'll be dead by then. Still, I just thought this was an interesting topic as movie fans to discuss about. What do you think about James Earl Jones signing off his voice for Disney to use it with AI technology? But that's all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.